Okay, here is the Huffy frame here. This is a brand new bike. I just took it out of the box. We got some assembly required. That's going to help us here a little bit in building up the motorized bike kit. We've got one issue on the frame. You have these two studs here for mounting a water bottle or a tire pump on the bike. The bottom one is going to be in the way of the mounting bracket. So what you're going to have to do is get you a grinder and remove the screw first and grind. There's a washer here and it's threaded that goes into the frame here. You want to grind that off. If you have access to a welder, you may want to go ahead, grind it, braze in or fill in the hole with a welder, then file it smooth. If you're very careful with a grinder, you can just go ahead and grind it. What you don't want to do is take any additional metal off of the frame, any more than just what keeps it round that allows the motor to mount. You're going to remove the bolts here, take this plate off, the motor will mount here, and the motor will nest in the frame right there like we see here. Okay, I've removed the brake clamp screw here. I removed it and I went ahead and put it back on so I don't lose the hardware. I loosened up the axle nut here. Got me a big crescent. I needed a cheater. There in China, boy howdy, they put these nuts on tight. So loosen them up on both sides and then you're ready to slide your wheel out. Your wheel comes down, take your chain off here and just go ahead and let the chain dangle. Okay, you're going to need a 10mm wrench and a Phillips. We're going to remove the fender. We're going to remove the screw and the nut here, and then we're going to remove the screw here. Okay, now here's where it gets tricky. Sometimes the screw is in there pretty tight. So I'm using a number 2 Phillips, and I'm going to make sure I push it in there good and tight. And yep, this baby is tight. Be sure and push in good and hard because that screw is very soft. You might strip the head. Now we're ready to take our fender off. Okay, so we've got our fender here, and what we need to do is this is where the drive chain is going to be, and we have some issues with the drive chain rubbing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut about almost all the way to this piece here, where this is here. If I took a straight line and I went all the way up, about 7 inches up, about this far here. I have my grinding tool here, I have my angle grinder, and I have a very thin cutting blade, a metal cutting blade. And what I'm going to do about right where my thumb is, I'm going to go ahead and cut in on it. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. When you're cutting this, and you're cutting up, you don't want to have your fingers in the way, because you'll cut your fingers off, okay? So take your time, or you can just use a pair of tin snips and cut up here. The problem with the tin snips is it's going to deform the metal and you're going to have some issues here. But here I've got a nice straight cut. I now take my file and I'm going to file it off. Take my file and I'm going to file off here and get rid of all of the rough edges from the cut. Okay, I now have it deburred. We've got a fairly good cut and we're ready to put this back on the bike.